Hi guys, today we're going to talk about meat birds. Two of the breeds that we've been growing for several years are Cornish Cross and red broilers. Both of these breeds are excellent for meat production, but there are some distinct differences between the two and you might prefer one over the other. One of the differences in the Cornish Cross, they tend to be a breast meat chicken. They grow really large breasts, so if you really like chicken breasts over chicken thighs, you'll want to grow more Cornish Cross. The red broilers tend to have more dark meat and thigh meat, so if you're a thigh meat type of person, you may want to grow red broilers. Also, Cornish Cross, their harvest time is usually around 10 to 11 weeks, or once they get to about 5 to 6 pounds. The red broilers take a little bit longer at about 14 weeks, but the main difference that I find between the two is that the red broiler meat ends up being a lot juicier and a lot more tender than the Cornish Cross. Although the Cornish Cross meat is fantastic, it's just as good, it does tend to be a little bit tougher and a little drier, so you may want to harvest them sooner than that. We free range both of these breeds, despite what people say about Cornish Cross not being a great meat bird for free ranging. We do free range ours, and we have for several years, and they do very, very well, and they still get up to over 6 pounds at that 10-week mark. So we usually harvest ours at 10 weeks. The red broilers, however, are really excellent chickens for free ranging. They're much healthier than the Cornish Cross. And they do take a little bit more time to get up to the weight that you want them to when you free range, but they will forage all day long. This one here is a Cornish Cross. Another thing I want to mention is if you like to eat chicken feet, I know in a lot of Asian cuisine, chicken feet is really popular. A Cornish Cross is a really great breed for that because they have large shanks, so you'll get a lot bigger chicken feet for those dishes. But you can see this girl is free ranging and she's actually eating grass seed right now, and I just find that they do really well when they're free ranging. And it also depends on the time of year. If you have an abundance of bugs for them to be eating in the springtime, then you want to raise them in the springtime. Usually in the wintertime, there's not as much stuff for them to eat out in the fields, so you may have to put them in a tractor and supplement with more feed. These are some red broiler chicks that we have in our tractor right now, and I believe they're about 5 weeks old now. Another main difference is the overall health of the two breeds. Like I said earlier, the red broiler has a longer lifespan if you end up keeping them past that processing time. The Cornish Cross, you can keep them as pets and they will start laying eggs, but they don't live very long in our experience. We've tried to keep several of our Cornish Cross hens over the years because our kids fall in love with a special one or something like that, and they usually don't make it past the year mark. They end up having heart attacks, and they're just not a healthy breed. They're not bred to keep as pets. However, the red broilers, you can keep them and they will survive past that year mark and they will be healthy chickens. However, they're not great layers. You might get 3 eggs a week. So it may not be worth it to you to keep them as a laying hen, but if you wanted to keep one as a pet, they would survive and they would be healthy and just fine for that. Both breeds are extremely docile, and I find that red broiler roosters are the sweetest roosters ever, and it's so hard not to keep all of them as pets. Both of these breeds are hybrids. The Cornish Cross is a cross between a Cornish hen and a white Plymouth Rock, and the red broilers, actually, I think they change what type of breeds they use every few years, so I have no idea what these particular ones are. They seem to change all the time. If you wanted to keep a trio or a pair and breed them yourselves, you can't really do that from the hybrids because you'll end up with like a 50-50 ratio. You might get 50% meat birds and then 50% of them would be something else. So in order to breed Cornish Cross, you just want to get some Cornish hens and some white Plymouth Rocks and breed them that way, and their offspring would be your Cornish Cross. Here's some footage from some Cornish Cross and red broilers that we raised a few years ago, and you can see that we kept them in a tractor at night and we let them free range throughout the day. And like I said, we've been doing this for years. We've been free ranging our meat birds. We've never had an issue with them getting up to weight at all. They're huge foragers. They know how to forage, even though a lot of people say that they weren't bred for foraging. They're chickens. They have that instinct. They know how to find food. These red broilers here, you can tell, look a lot different from the ones that we have now. They're much darker in color, and that's just because I suspect they use a different breed for this batch. I'm not sure what the ones are that we have now. I wish I knew, because I would like to breed the red broilers. Overall, my favorite meat bird breed is the red broiler, because I'm a thigh meat type of person. I like moist, tender meat, and they are just really great for that. But we do raise both because my husband really likes the breast meat on the Cornish Cross. That's his favorite cut of the chicken, so we raise both of them. And I do recommend raising both, but like I said before, another reason why I prefer the red broilers is there's a better survival rate. You may lose more of the Cornish Cross chicks than you would of the red broilers. Like, I think this year we lost maybe 4 or 5 Cornish Cross chicks that just didn't make it, and we haven't lost any red broiler chicks at all. They're just a lot hardier. Also, one more thing I want to mention is you can go a lot longer with the red broilers, meaning you can keep them all year long and process them as you need them instead of processing them all at one time and putting them in the freezer, and the meat will still be pretty good quality. Obviously, the older they get, the tougher the meat gets, but you can always put that meat in a crock pot, and I do find that the Cornish Cross meat gets much tougher much sooner than the red broilers. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you're inspired to try raising your own meat chickens and that you try out both of these breeds. I do recommend both of them, and like I said, we've been growing them for several years. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.